The Galactic Coalition Military Academy had never seen anything quite like humans before. They were small compared to the towering Krath warriors, fragile compared to the armored Valkorians, and seemingly unremarkable in every measurable way. Yet something about them made Drill Sergeant Kronter uneasy. "You will learn ruthlessness," the massive Krath bellowed, his forearms gesticulating wildly as he paced before the assembled cadets. "Mercy is weakness. Hesitation is death. In combat, you strike without thought, without feeling, without remorse." Erin stood at attention in the third row, her small human frame barely reaching the shoulders of her alien classmates. Beside her, Stanley maintained the same rigid posture, his eyes fixed forward. They had been at the academy for 3 months now, and Sergeant Kronter had made it his personal mission to break them humans. Kronter's voice cut through the morning air like a plasma blade. Front and center, Erin and Stanley moved in perfect synchronization, stopping precisely 3 paces from the sergeant's massive form. Up close, his battle scars were even more intimidating, each one a story of survival. "A victory of ruthlessness, today's combat simulation," Kronter announced, his mandibles clicking with what might have been satisfaction. "We'll test your ability to make impossible choices. You will face overwhelming odds. You will watch your squad die. And you will learn that mercy has no place on the battlefield." The simulation chamber was massive, a holographic environment that could replicate any combat scenario with painful accuracy. The squad of 12 cadets filed in, with Erin and Stanley taking positions at the rear where humans were typically assigned. Out of the way of real warriors, the scenario loaded, a civilian colony under siege. Hostile forces outnumbered the squad 5 to 1. The mission parameters were simple: evacuate VIPs from the central compound before enemy forces breached the perimeter. Standard rescue operation. Or so it seemed. Begin. Kronter's voice echoed through the chamber. The squad moved with practiced efficiency, their training evident in every step. The Krath warriors took point with their heavy weapons. The Valkorian enforcers provided mobile cover, and the nimble Sari scouts ranged ahead. Erin and Stanley moved together, their smaller statures allowing them to navigate through the rubble-strewn streets. With surprising speed, the first contact came quick and brutal. Energy fire erupted from 3 directions simultaneously. 2 cadets went down immediately, their holographic forms dissolving as their biosignals flatlined in the simulation. The squad's formation fractured. "Regroup." The squad leader, a veteran Krath named Vexter, roared. But the enemy fire intensified, pinning them down in a kill box with no escape routes. Erin's mind worked rapidly, analyzing the tactical situation with the cold precision humans had honed through millennia of warfare. She saw it immediately. The entire scenario was designed to force a choice: save the VIPs and lose the squad, or save the squad and abandon the mission. It was a test of ruthlessness. Stanley caught her eye. No words were needed. They had trained together, studied together, and somewhere along the way, they had learned to think as one tactical unit. "Vexter," Erin's voice cut through the chaos with unnatural calm. "We need to split the squad. Negative. We stay together. Then we all die," Stanley added, his tone matter of fact. "And the VIPs die. And the mission fails." Another cadet fell. 9 remained. Erin continued, her voice never rising above conversational level despite the simulated explosions around them. "Stanley and I will draw their fire. We'll move fast, use our size advantage in the urban terrain. Give you 30 seconds to reach the compound. You'll be cut to pieces." Vexter protested. "Yes," Erin agreed. "Probably." Kronter, watching from the observation deck, leaned forward. This was not how the scenario usually played out. Most squads either froze, attempting to save everyone and losing everyone, or abandoned the mission entirely. But these humans go in now, Stanley announced, and without waiting for approval, he and Erin burst from cover. What happened next would be analyzed in tactical classes for years to come. The humans moved like nothing the Krath had ever seen, not with the raw speed of Sari, but with a terrifying efficiency of motion. They used every piece of cover, every angle, every moment of distraction, and they made noise. Stanley fired his rifle in full automatic, deliberately wasteful, drawing attention. Erin threw smoke grenades at random intervals, creating the illusion of a larger force. They shouted coordinates to non-existent backup units, called for support that wasn't coming, and generally made themselves the most obvious, annoying targets on the battlefield. The enemy AI did exactly what they predicted. It redirected 70% of its forces toward the obvious threat, Vexter, and the remaining squad members reached the compound. The VIPs were secured in 43 seconds. Erin took a hit. Her left leg gave out, and she went down hard behind a concrete barrier. Stanley grabbed her without breaking stride, hauling her up and half carrying, half dragging her toward what little cover remained. Extraction point is 200 meters. Stanley grunted, his own biosignals showing multiple injuries. "We won't make it," Erin stated flatly. "Probably not." They made it 70 meters before Stanley took 3 shots to the back. He dropped, and Erin tumbled with him into a crater. Their biosignals were failing rapidly, the simulation registering critical wounds that would be fatal within minutes. But the mission clock showed success. The VIPs were extracted. The squad, what remained of it, had completed the objective. Simulation complete. The automated voice announced. Kronter entered the chamber, his expression unreadable as he stood over the 2 humans who were slowly climbing to their feet, the simulated injuries fading. "You were supposed to learn ruthlessness," he said slowly. Erin met his gaze directly. "You said mercy is weakness. You said we strike without hesitation. You said victory requires sacrifice." She paused. "We took you at your word, Sergeant. You sacrificed yourselves," Kronter observed. "We sacrificed 2 lives to save 10, Stanley corrected. "The math was simple. The choice was ruthless. It's what you taught us." Kronter's mandibles clicked rapidly. Something the humans had learned meant deep thought. Around them, the other cadets watched in silence. "In my species' culture," Kronter finally said, "ruthlessness means power, dominance, crushing the enemy." He looked at both humans for a long moment. "I am beginning to understand that human ruthlessness is different, more frightening." Erin allowed herself a small smile. "Humans learned ruthlessness over thousands of years of total warfare, Sergeant. We learned that the most ruthless act isn't always the most violent. Sometimes it's the most logical, the most efficient, the most willing to pay the price." Stanley added quietly, "You wanted us to learn to kill without hesitation, but humans already know how to do that. What makes us dangerous is that we've also learned when to die without hesitation." Kronter was silent for several seconds, then executed a formal salute, a gesture of respect reserved for proven warriors. "The Galactic Coalition," he said slowly, "may not be ready for humans, but I am grateful you are on our side." As the cadets filed out, Vexter approached Erin and Stanley. "That was insane," he said, but there was respect in his voice. "Thank you," Erin shrugged. "The sergeant demanded ruthlessness. We're human. It's what we do, outside." Stanley glanced at his partner. "You know we're going to get volunteered for every suicide mission from now on, right?" "Probably," Erin agreed with a slight grin. "Humanity, fuck yeah. Humanity, fuck yeah." Behind them, Sergeant Kronter made a note in his report. "Recommend humans for special operations training. Warning, they take orders literally. They understand ruthlessness in ways we do not. Handle with extreme caution and gratitude." The galaxy, he reflected, had no idea what was coming.